Okay. All right, 6:03. I think we should get started. I am very, very excited to be here. Guillermo, you ready?
I'm
Olivia,
ready.
you ready? We're all set?
I'm ready.
Okay, all right. Well, welcome. Welcome everybody to Guillermo Galindo in Performance. And thank you for joining us this evening. And thank you to Guillermo Galindo for sharing his work and insight with us in this really unique program. I'm Sarah Linda Lichtblau, Director of Education at the Hudson River Museum, and it's my pleasure to introduce tonight's performance and our special guest. Please do note that your microphones have been muted upon entry, but you can control your video. We invite you to type your comments and questions in the chat, and they'll be addressed toward the end of the program, which is being facilitated by my colleague Olivia Cipriano. And one additional note, it has been suggested in order to optimize the sound quality of the music on Zoom that listeners wear headphones if they're available. So, Guillermo Galindo is an experimental composer, as well as a creator of numerous sculptural sonic devices. 8 of these sonic devices, crafted from artifacts found in the desert along the US-Mexico border, artifacts that are imbued with the spirit of their former owners, can be experienced in the immersive exhibition Border Cantos Sonic Border. And Olivia, if you can advance the slide, we can get a view of a little bit of context. Thank you so much. This exhibition is on view at the Hudson River Museum through May 9th. This evening, we have the rare opportunity to see and hear the composer perform a portion of his composition, Sonic Borders 3, with his sonic devices, demonstrating their transformative power as sculptural works of art that give voice to the displaced. Our thanks to Art Bridges for its support of the exhibition and the extensive program of events it has inspired, and to videographer Gustavo Vasquez for his masterful recording of tonight's concert, filmed in the composer's studio in California, where we will be able to join him later. Guillermo Galindo's interpretations of concepts such as musical form and notation, sonic archetypes, and sound generating devices span a wide spectrum of artistic works performed and exhibited throughout the United States, Latin America, Europe, and Asia. He has composed 2 symphonies, Ome Acatl, premiered in Mexico City in 1997, and Trade Routes, commissioned by the Oakland East Bay Symphony Orchestra and Chorus in 2006. His work has been shown and performed in concert halls, museums, and other venues all around the world, including the Documenta 14 Art Biennale in Athens and Germany, the Getty's Pacific Standard Time in Los Angeles, and the CTM Festival in Berlin, Germany. Galindo has been a Moore Visiting Artist at Stanford University and a Distinguished Visiting Scholar at the Rollins Cornell Arts Museum. Now, the piece you are about to hear was recorded especially for the Hudson River Museum and is an excerpt from versions of Sonic Borders 3 that Guillermo Galindo has performed in various locations throughout the world over the course of many years. And actually, this version of the piece incorporates a part of his work, Echo Exodus, which he wrote for Documenta 14 and performed in Athens, playing his kitchen pot instruments made from a couple of items that he found in a refugee camp in Germany and other items he found on the island of Lesbos. What is new in this version is his incorporation of listo, the bicycle instrument, and a piece of border wall that replaces his work Exterminating Angel that is now on view at the Cantor Arts Center at Stanford University. Since the score is based in controlled improvisation, it is slightly different every time he plays it. Following the performance, Guillermo Galindo will have some of his actual sonic devices on hand in his studio to show and demonstrate for us in real time. He'll also share the score of tonight's performance, which is a work of art in itself, and explain his system of notation, after which he'll be happy to respond to questions from the audience. And now we are ready to invite you to enjoy Sonic Borders 3. Thank you. I think we'll just take a few minutes to let the music resonate. Thank you so much, Guillermo. Um, wow. Um, that was breathtaking.
Thank
Um, thank you so much. Um, to be able to watch close up how you manipulate the sonic devices was extraordinary. It's almost better than being there, I think. Um, and a couple of things that we promised um, in terms of being there now that we are with you here in your studio. I wonder if you could share some of your sonic devices with us, maybe some close-ups, some examples of what you have worked on and how you play them and
Yeah,
what they're
sure.
made out of and all that. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm gonna turn this around a little bit. So this is the what I call the pot instrument. It had a name in Greek, but I don't read Greek, so I don't remember what it's called. But it's actually based on an instrument that is called the water phone. Not because of water, but because the person that invented it, his last name is Water. But this is made of a pot that was found in a refugee camp in Kassel, Germany. And this top plate was actually soldered to it. And it's a plate that was found in a wreckage. Well, there's a lot of items from immigrants from Africa and the Middle East in the island of Lesbos, and I found this plate aside with other cooking things and water. And this is like from the boat, from the wreckage boat, and these brass rods are attached to it. So brass is usually a very resonant material, and this can be bowed like this. It has a very whale sound. I don't know if you can hear it. And also it can be used as a percussion. And here, as you can see, I write the notes and the frequencies of the, you see all of those are frequencies. Actually, it looks backwards, but you can see E flat, 312 hertz.
Mhm.
That's that, no? So that's that instrument. And then there's this other guy here that is actually in the Border Cantos book, but it's been modified a lot. This is one of my first instruments, and it's made from wood from the border, from Laredo, Texas, and stones from the Chaparral, where I found most of the stuff, and all of those are bridges that are for tuning different strings in different ways, and other bridges are made of bones that I found in a site, and all of these ornaments, like this part here, is made of the plastic from Border Patrol empty shells. This is a top of can of food, and this is like ornaments made out of the inner tires that they used to the immigrants used to cross the Rio Grande. And there's more here, more ornaments, and basically that's that one. And I think that's it. I have some bottles also that I use as flutes. This bottle is from Lesbos, also is very typical bottle, like from the Middle East. Beautiful bottle. And this one is from the Mexico-US border. So basically that's that.
Thank you, Guillermo. I can't help but wonder. when I see these instruments, and knowing that you were trained in a classical, you have a classical training,
Mhm.
as well as an experimental music training. You've taken it to such a new and unique and different place. The vision, how do you envision your instruments? What are they based on images in your mind? Are they sounds that come to you and then somehow dictate the instrument? I'm just wondering about your process.
Well, basically, I find things and I see if they can be used as if they make any sound, and I explore the sounds that they make first, and then I see how they can be adapted into a sculptural form that can help make the sounds resonate and project and work together. So I basically first I work with the sound that the objects make, and then I put them together in a way that I see aesthetically, visually interesting. But first I start with the sound, and then the function, and then the aesthetic. And many of the times the the sonic function dictates the aesthetics of the instrument.
Thank you. That, in a way, when I think about the message, the theme of Border Cantos, Sonic Border, and the feeling of being able to transcend borders and boundaries, that's really what you're doing in your
Mm.
work. It's a manifestation of that spirit, which I truly, and I think we all truly appreciate. In looking at the pot with the notations, it calls to mind your amazing score, the way you score your music, which what from what I've seen, your scores are works of art in themselves. I know you have some you might be able to share with us and discuss. You
Yeah,
would
I'm gonna.
so
I don't
kind.
know if I should share first the one that I use for the pot instrument,
Oh, great. Thank you.
which is the simplest one. No, it's the most kind of, I would say, traditional one. But let me see if I can find it. So I'm gonna share my screen now, and hold on. Let me make it bigger here. Share screen. Okay, so this is for the pot instrument. This is like more traditional. No, this is usually in music the horizontal line is read from left to right, from 0 to 5 minutes here, and this is what is happening in these 5 minutes. No, what the notes that I have to activate in the pot instrument, and then I have the bottles here that I adapt, and these are the notes that I have here and that are looped. This is the most basic one, and here are the frequencies for each of the rods. I'm gonna share the other one now. Um, these you're gonna love these ones. Let's see, where is this one? This is a. I mean, this other score has been varying, has been changing through the years, and let me see. Uh, oh, this one, yeah. Okay. So this one is for the other instrument. This is more like a set of actions that is to be completed in a certain amount of time. Um, let's see. So this one has like a preparation. Let me see if I can. Oh, I'm not able to. I probably should do it again. Hold on. So I have to reduce it a little so that you can see the whole thing, but it doesn't let me do it while I'm in Zoom. So let me go back to Zoom. Okay, we got it. Okay, so here you can see that it has, oh, I'm sharing my other thing. Hold on. Where is it? Where did it go? 1 second. Oh, it's here. Can you see it now?
Yep. Thank you. Mhm.
So this is basically the preparation. This is how I tune my strings. And this is how I tune the bottles. The bottles I fill them with water and I tune them in different ways when I play the bottles. And here is more or less a photograph of how I place the bridges, the bones. And then this is 10 minutes, this is another 10 minutes, this is another 10 minutes. And the piece is moving here from 0 minutes to 35 minutes in this page. So I have all of the other devices, and I have the, the, the I call hueso cordio, this bone instrument. And I have some other scratchers here and some other things. I have some electronic devices. I had some um, um, um empty shells here that I use. And then I have notes to myself, rhythms, tempos that I put. And then I had a vocal section in this one that was kind of choreographed. And it had all of these texts. So I have the choreography here of things that I do. And then I started barking. So I have a barking dog here. And this is like settings of my effects, like how they are supposed to be set. And back to the hueso cordio, to the string instrument, the notes. Then I used to play I play a lot that string instrument also with a fan, with a toy fan that is here. I hear the bottles and the flute, and up to 60 minutes, right? So this is how it looks like here.
It's so graphic. It's like a graphic novel in a way. Um,
Yeah.
it's a musical narrative that is just extraordinary. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And I'm sure I know it's generated a lot of questions on my part, and I'm sure on the part of the audience. So I want to open. Yeah, go ahead, Guillermo.
I'll
Sorry.
show you the last one because it
Oh,
evolved
yes, please.
different ways, and this one evolved in this way.
Mhm.
This one is.
Um, you were building up to
Barking
this.
dog with the dashboard feedback. This is like I don't want to have feedback, so it's like a skeleton for feedback, and there's a lot
Um,
of there's
I hate to interrupt, but while you're still on this, or while you were still on the score, what do the arrows mean? Is that like up to the
oh,
performer?
let me go back to the.
Yeah.
Sorry about um, shutting it off. Um, no, the arrows is like from these are like isolated events. So it means from this event you can move to this event and to this event, but you cannot move from this one to, let's say, this one, you see? So the arrows indicate where you can move or where you
So
cannot.
that's what you mean by controlled improvisation, right?
Exactly. So yeah, there, there are certain parameters and certain things that are controlled and certain things that are not controlled.
Wow. Wow.
Okay, so that's that.
Oh, thank you so much, Guillermo. And it's funny, there is a graphic designer in the audience who says that it's obvious from your scores that you studied graphic design.
Yeah.
So starting out with that, Olivia, are there any other questions that we can pose from the audience to Guillermo at this point?
Yes, there was a question early on about your attire when performing, and it's just, or I guess my question to you is, how do you choose what to wear for any given performance, or even what you're wearing right now?
I usually wear like black and jewelry in my, like a necklace, earrings, and some things in my hands sometimes. And
Mhm.
I inside I wear protection stuff that aura protection and stuff that protect me because there's a lot of I mean, you may or not believe in these, but there's a lot of I mean, we're dealing with objects that belong to people, and we're kind of honoring people that probably is dead or probably disappeared or probably made it or probably didn't make it. So we're dealing with energies of people that I haven't met personally or anything, but I'm honoring them, and I want to make sure that everybody is good with everything, and everything we put out there is start something, no?
Mhm. I understand. So moving back to some questions about your music, David also wanted to hear you talk about some sampling technology. And while we're on that note, I also definitely heard a lot of like influences from that as well. I know that you've mentioned being influenced by John Cage, but I also see that there are parallels to like musique concrete.
Mhm.
And while your sounds are not as pre-recorded as the Phillips Pavilion, do you consider this genre as an influence on your work, or is it more towards the side of sampling that we see in like more popular types of music?
Well, the John Cage influence, I don't know if you know the water piece.
Hmm.
There's a video online in YouTube, and it's a series of actions that he activates things around. And I see it actually very similar to my rituals, no?
Yeah.
Series of actions to be completed in certain amount of time. And some things are activated and sometimes some things are left activated, like a radio is turned on. But my sampling technology is very simple. I use these devices that are kind of loopers, and I use this precise looper because it just has like double tap, one tap, or triple tap, and they do different things. They hold the sample, and they have a volume knob here. So you sample anything that you want to keep sounding, and you regulate the volume here. And also, I've been traveling a lot with this, so it's a very, very light and very little thing to travel with. It's very important for me to find things that I can travel with without making too much weight or anything. So I like this to sample. All the samples are made live, so that probably differs with the way that samples are used in popular music, because they live in your hard drive or they live in your recorder or whatever. And these samples are erased after the piece is over, they're just for the piece. Just while I play, they're there, and then when I turn off the power, they're gone.
Wow. Well, thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah.
We have another question from this time from Jerome. And do you ever perform with other people using your instruments simultaneously, like a symphony or an orchestra of some sort?
Yes, the first piece that I wrote, uh, actually the hueso cordio, the string instrument that I show you, was written for a piece that was performed with a Quinteto Latino. And that was before I made the project with Richard Misrach and everything. That's where Richard saw the first time the performances of with those group of people. It's a traditional wind quintet. And then I made an ensemble uh, with my instruments that I play at the Exploratorium with. There's a YouTube video of that. And that one, I use it that's how I play in Crystal Bridges. And they were able to bring all of my members of my ensemble and everything. But then after that, the museums kind of cut costs a little bit, and I would have to like travel on my own. So that's why I start sampling myself instead and doing things on my own. I mean, I love working with a lot of people and ensembles and things, but it's not. Sometimes it's not affordable.
Oh yeah, I totally understand. We keep getting a lot of questions about the necklace that you're wearing right now. Do
Oh,
you want to talk a little bit about that?
Carolinda was asking me
Yeah.
earlier.
It's
This
it's
is a
it's
very
a
interesting.
great
I do
story.
a lot of things for healing, including my instruments are made. I don't know if you recognize this, but Alejandro Jodorowsky, the artist, has this thing called psychomagic that he extracted from Mexican healers, Mexico City healers, and everything. He had this friend, a sorcerer that was called Doña Panchita, and Doña Panchita did a lot of healing with objects related to persons. You can heal yourself with your own objects that surround you. So that's where all the instruments come from and all the idea comes from. Now, talking about the necklace, I I bought a speed bike, like a fast bike, and I'm used to mountain bikes. So I was riding down Telegraph Avenue here in Berkeley, and I didn't know where the brakes were on the bike. So I was going to really fast traffic, and instead of dying hitting the traffic, I just let my bike fall, and I fell on my hand, and I broke all the bones here. And And my friend that is a dancer said, you should go to doctor and take some x-rays. So I went, and I didn't have a very good insurance that time and everything. So to make the story short, I started going with a therapist that did hot wax therapy. And she felt pity for me being an artist and not having too much money at the time. So she started doing the healing for free or with a lot of discount. And I found these hands that are mudras. And it was when I was meditating a lot. And I made a necklace for her for curing my hand, and one for me for having a cured hand. And that's the story of the necklace.
Yes, and David also wants to know about the earrings. But
All
thank
these
you for
earrings,
sharing. Yeah.
those earrings, I was in a big crisis about 6 months ago, and COVID made it more complicated. And a very dear, beautiful friend of mine said, "You're in transformation. You're metaphorsizing, like 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 a butterfly. So
Oh,
they have like little wings of butterflies inside.
oh.
Yeah, they're cool.
Again, another wonderful symbol of transcending borders, right? Of migrating, of
Yeah,
migrating. Beautiful.
yeah, and I usually wear a blue butterfly when I perform. If you see a lot of my videos, there's a very big blue butterfly that also resembles the psyche for the Greeks. And the psyche is the soul, no? The psyche in Greek is soul.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sarah Linda, I
Yes.
think, do we have time for one more?
I think we do. I think we definitely, right? Are you up to this, Guillermo?
Yes.
Another question or two?
Totally.
Um, so going back to these instruments that you've created, which are just incredible. Someone asked, when you make an instrument, is it entirely out of found objects, or do you ever add other items?
I have to add other items, like for example the strings. I mean, you're not gonna necessarily find something that you can make strings of, no, and that they're resonant, or the tuners, or the brass rods in the pot instrument. But yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I try to use as many found objects as I can.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm gonna hand the floor back to Sarah Linda, I think.
Well, thank you, Olivia. Thank you. And I did want to mention one thing that our curator Laura Buchholz mentioned, which I referred to in the chat, is that the talking about psyche and metamorphosis and migratory species, the monarch butterfly is an incredibly powerful symbol, and it relates very strongly to the work that our teaching artist in residence, Erica Harsh, is doing. But before we get to that, I just wanted to ask Guillermo if he had any last words or thoughts to share. You have been so generous with your vision, with your spirit, with your beautiful music. If there's any last thoughts you'd like to share with the audience.
Well, I would like the audience to be conscious of the crisis that is happening right now as we talk. There's a lot of children holding the border, and we have to put pressure in our government to treat children like children should be treated, and to treat families the way that they should be treated, to not separate, to make the best effort for children to have a comfortable space, and 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 to not keep separating the families, because we're creating a generation of children that is going to have a lot of trauma, and it's very sad, what is happening, and this has to be handled the right way and in a humanitarian way, and with a lot of common sense. That's basically my message. And if you have chance to talk to your congressperson or to whoever is in charge, please take a minute and think about your family and about your own children and about how would you feel to be in that position.
Guillermo, thank you. Thank you so much. It's about humanity, and that's really what comes across, I think, in the exhibition and in your music, the incredible respect you have for the people who, whether they were forced to flee from one place to another, migrating across borders, leaving their homes, the respect that you show for what is inherent in those objects, I think is really powerful and sends that message as well. So thank you so much for using your art forms to communicate that message in a very powerful way. Guillermo, thank you. And the work that Guillermo and Richard Misrach have done in Border Cantos has inspired so many programs. And we're going to be addressing many of these issues in the next month or so. But I did want to let you know that coming up just in the next week, we have two wonderful artists, and I put their links to their programs in the chat. We have our teaching artist in residence, Erica Harsh, tomorrow, doing a workshop based on the exquisite corpse, which may be it's a surrealist trope that many of you may be familiar with, but she takes it in a new direction in terms of looking back to your history and what makes you up in terms of your ancestry and where your ancestors may have come from. So that's going to be tomorrow at 2:00. And then Wednesday at 7:00, we have a studio visit with a Mexican-born artist, Andrea Arroyo, who is now in New York. That's the second in our series of today's Mexican art scene. And what I've also put in the chat here are links to virtual tours of the exhibition. We really hope that you can visit the exhibition in person at the museum. So you can either use these as preparation, or if you're not in the area, just to get a sense of the immersive quality of being in the space, looking at Richard Misrach's photographs and hearing Guillermo Galindo's music. It is meditative, contemplative, powerful, and resonant. So with that, I want to thank everybody for being here this evening. Thank you so much. I hope you go on to enjoy a beautiful weekend and a happy, healthy, safe, joyful spring. Thank you all so much. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye, Guillermo. Thank you again.